بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم وصلاته وسلامه على رسوله الكريم أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبد رسوله اللهم صل على محمد آل محمد أما بعد. So inshallah we'll continue in our book Adhkar by the great Mujtahid Imam Nawawi rahimahullah ta'ala. This is the chapter Bab Takbiratul Ihram, about the opening takbir. When you say Allahu Akbar, you raise your hands. The first time is called Takbiratul Ihram, the opening takbir, or the sacred takbir, or the takbir that makes everything outside salat haram, like eating, drinking, talking, moving, all that stuff becomes haram. So Imam Nawawi, he says what? Rahimahullah ta'ala wa qadasallahu siruhu. اعلم أن الصلاة لا تصح إلا بتكبيرة الإحرام. That you should know that the salah is not correct, it's not sahih, illa except بتكبيرة الإحرام, with the takbir ihram, with the opening takbir. فريدة كانت أو نافلة. If this salah is a wajibat, one of the 5 daily prayers, or if it's any other salah that's nafil, that's extra. والتكبيرة عند الشافعي والأكثرين جزء من الصلاة. And this raising the hands and saying Allahu Akbar with Imam Shafi and the majority of scholars is a part of the salah. وَرُكَنٌ مِنْ أَرْكَانِهَا. And it is a pillar from the pillars of salah, meaning something that has to exist from the things that have to exist in salah. وَإِنْدَ أَبِي حَنِيفَةَ هِيَ شَرْطٌ لَيْسَتْ مِنْ نَفْسِ الصَّلَاةِ. And Abu Hanifa, he mentions that this is only a condition. It's not considered a rukin. It's not something that has to exist in the salat. Rather, it's a precondition that has to occur for the salat to be valid. So there's an ikhtilaf between the mujtahidun. Is it part of the salat or is it condition of the salat? The majority say it's part of the salat. Even Abu Hanifa, he says no, it's just a condition for the salat to occur. And he said it's not part of salat. وَاعْلَمْ أَنَّ لَفْظَ التَّكْبِيرِ أَن يَقُولَ Allahu Akbar. And know that the saying has to occur with Allahu Akbar. أو يقول Allahul Akbar. So you can do Allahu Akbar or Allahul Akbar. Both of these are considered correct. فَهَذَانِ جَائِزَانِ عِنْدَ الشَّافِعِ. So these two are considered permissible with Imam Shafi. وَأَبِي حَنِيفَةَ وَآخِرِينَ. And Abu Hanifa and the rest of them, they also say that these two are no problem. You can say Allahu Akbar or Allahul Akbar. Both of these are correct. وَمَنْعَ مَالِكْ ثَانِي. But Imam Malik, he prohibited saying Allahul Akbar, adding the alif lam there. He prohibited that. فَالْإِحْتِيَاطُ أَن يَأْتِي الْإِنسَانُ بِالْأَوَّلِ. So it's ihtiyat. It is a necessary precaution. أَن يَأْتِي الْإِنسَانُ, that the people they come with bil awwal, with the first one, meaning Allahu Akbar, without Allahul Akbar. Because ihtiyat means if 3 of the 4 mujtahidun mutlaq, the 3 of the 4 absolute mujtahids, they're saying it's okay, and one of them is saying it's not okay, you do necessary precaution. The one said it's not okay, so don't do it. And this is found in many things, like Imam Malik, he says that it's not wajib to recite Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim or A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajeem when you say Allahu Akbar. It's not wajib. It's not part of the things that if you don't do in the salat, your salat becomes invalid. But the ihtiyat, the necessary precaution, because Imam Shafi says Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim is wajib. It's part of the salat. It's part of the Surah al-Fatiha, and it has to be recited or your salat is batil. So you should actually still practice a necessary precaution. You should still recite it, even though it's not considered wajib. It doesn't mean it's not mustahab, it's not recommended. It doesn't mean it's not sunnah. Wajib just means if it's not there, your salat is considered valid. So Imam Malik, when he says that it's not wajib, he means if you don't recite the Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, your salat is still valid. It doesn't mean you don't have to do it. لِيَخْرُجْ مِنَ الْخِلَافِ. So he said what? فَالْإِحْتِيَاطُ أَن يَأْتِيَ الْإِنسَانُ بِالْأَوَّلِ. So it's a necessary precaution that the people, they do the first one, meaning Allahu Akbar and not Allahul Akbar. لِإِخْرَاجُ مِنَ الْخِلَافِ. To come out of this disagreement. So we should, instead of disagreeing that if it's okay or not, just let's take out what we disagree on, and what we agree on is if you say Allahu Akbar, it's correct. There is a disagreement if you say Allahu Akbar if it's correct or not. let's take ourselves out of this disagreement. This is called al-ihtiyat, meaning necessary precaution. ولا يجوز التكبير بغير الهذان اللفظين. And it's not permissible to say the takbir without these two pronunciations, meaning Allahu Akbar or Allahul Akbar. فلو قال الله العظيم. If you were to say Allahu Azim, or Allahul Muta'al, or you say Allah is the most great, Allah Muta'al, or Allah is the most high, or Allahu A'zam, or Allah is the greatest, or A'azza, or the most powerful, or Ajalla, or Ma Ashbaha Hada, or anything that resembles that, Lam Tasihha Salata Inda Shafi'i wa Aktharin. Your salat would not be correct with Imam Shafi'i in the majority of Mujtahidun. وقال Abu Hanifa, but Abu Hanifa, he says, Tasihhu. No, this is correct. Why? Because he has ikhtilaf. He says that the takbir ihram is a shart, is a condition of salat, and it's not a rukn. It's not a part of salat. It's not something that has to be in the salat for the salat to be valid. Rather, it's a condition for the salat to occur. وَلَوْ قَالْ Akbarullah. If you said Akbarullah and said Allahu Akbar, and said Akbarullah, lam tasihu ala sahihul indana. It wouldn't be correct based on the most correct position with the Shafi'i scholars. وَقَالَ بَعْدُ أَصْحَابِنَا. But some of our peers, meaning some of the mujtahidun, tasihu, they say it's correct if you say Akbarullah. كَمَا لَوْ قَالَ فِي آخِرِ الصَّلَاةِ. Just like if you said in the end of your prayer, alaykum as-salam. Instead of assalamu alaykum, you said alaykum as-salam. فَإِنَّ يَصِحُّ عَلَى الصَّحِيحِ. Because that is correct on the most correct position. So he's saying here, Imam Nawawi, the great Mujtahid, is saying what? That if you said Akbarullah, the most correct position of the Shafi'i madhab is that's not correct, that your salat would not be valid. But there are some of the Mujtahidun from the Shafi'is and other than them, they said that no, that's okay. Because it is correct when you say Assalamu alaikum, if you also said Alaykum as-salam. Both of those are correct by switching the words from Assalamu alaikum to Alaykum as-salam. So if you switched Allahu Akbar to Akbarullah, they're saying because we all agree saying Alaykum as-salam is correct, then we should also agree Akbarullah is correct as well. So this is the end of the discussion Imam Nawawi brought. But what we should gain from this is that Allahu Akbar is part of the salat, that has to be said correctly, that once you say Allahu Akbar, you raise your hands, everything else becomes haram. Eating, drinking, talking, excessive movement, and even thinking you're outside the prayer. If you think, oh, I've stopped the prayer, your prayer becomes invalid, just that intention of stopping the prayer. So also we should gain that this thing called ihtiyat. Ihtiyat means necessary precaution. So when one of the mujtahidun say something is wajib, you should at least make it sunnah. You should at least incorporate into your action, because it's called ihtiyat. Because all the mujtahidun, they did their ijtihad, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has accepted, because we know Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accepted all the Hanafis, all the Malikis, all the Shafis, all the Hanbalis, because all of the ulama al-sunnah jama'at are one of these. All of the imams al-sunnah jama'at follow one of these four mujtahidun mutlaq, these absolute mujtahids. Ibn Taymiyyah, he was a Hanbali. Imam Nawawi, he was a Shafi. Qadi Iyad, he was a Maliki. Abu Mansur Maturidi, he was a Hanafi. And since all of the ulama that we take our deen from followed one of these mujtahidun, we have to understand that the deen only comes through these mujtahidun. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.